All right, everyone. Donald Trump is being sued by the Attorney Generals of Washington, D.C. and Maryland over the Emoluments Clause. What's been happening is that there are foreign payments going into Trump Inc. properties. That is, his hotels, golf courses, skyscrapers for rent, things of that nature. And according to them, according to their case, this breaks the Emoluments Clause. The president's not supposed to take any form of foreign payment. They can't even take gifts. Like there are times when some foreign dignitary, they're like, oh, take this sword, take this helmet, take this ancient book or something as a gift from the people of wherever. The Malawian people gratefully bestow upon you this robe or something. The president is not allowed to accept those things. The nation can accept them as a gift, put them in a museum or something like that. Others can accept it sort of on their behalf, but they themselves can't actually take it while they're in office. They can't take so much as a red cent. But here's the confusion. Does it constitute a breach of the Emoluments Clause for Trump, who has put his properties in a trust while he's in office, to potentially gain money from foreign donors or from foreign investors? In the latter case, I would say, in my opinion, no. Trump's properties are scattered around the world. He didn't sell them off. He put them in a trust. Eric Trump, Don Trump, Ivanka, they're all managing these properties. While they're his relatives, they are not in office. They're not Donald Trump himself. And for a modern corporate model, you can think whatever you want about multinational corporations, and Trump Inc. essentially is one. Think whatever you want. In order for such a business model to work, it would put perhaps an undue burden on his family members. Essentially, what this could boil down to in a legal sense is, would it unduly harm the business that is currently being run by others who are profiting upon it, in order to enforce the Emoluments Clause against it? That is, if you own a golf course in some other country, foreign investors are funding it, funding maintenance for some sort of return, investing in something to expand it. Trump himself is not getting any of that money. The properties are in a trust. He's not the one. He doesn't have access to the funds. He doesn't have access to fiscal reports or anything like that. The most he can do is call Eric Trump up and say, oh, how is everything going? Oh, it's going fine. Investment is great. That's about the gist of what he can and cannot do. Anything further than that would be a breach of ethics. Foreign donations, though, could, in essence, I think the worry is that some foreign state would create a backdoor arrangement with Trump's family or his inner circle of business partners or something in order to pump money in his business as a de facto gift to Trump that benefits him when he's left office, or benefits his children, essentially. A gift on his behalf to them in the form of investment, which is actually a political bribe. In that sense, I would say yes, that would be a big problem. The problem is, how do you differentiate between the two? How do you differentiate between some random person, someone from the UK, someone from Russia, Australia, Argentina, wherever, Brazil? They take like $10 million and they say, well, I want to invest. The Trump family has a new project in India. They're building an arrangement of apartments for rent, or they're building a hotel or something like that. I think it will succeed based on my knowledge. I want to invest because if I invest, they get the capital to build the thing, and then they pay me back over time as part of a contractual arrangement. And I can make a return. I pay $10 million in, I get $15 million back. It's all great. I get lots and lots of money, free and clear on this, because it's got Trump's name associated with it, and I trust their brand, essentially. They're putting stock in, putting faith in, investment into the brand. But how do you differentiate between someone who's doing that as part of normal business, is not talking to Donald Trump, is not looking for any political kickback, and is just taking part in what is already a multinational business model, and somebody who would do the same thing, but they're hoping to get some bribe? They don't even care about any fiscal return. They're just doing it. They're saying, oh, I'll bankroll that new skyscraper to the tune of $50 million. But you know that law that you're considering, you should veto that, like it's bad for business. Just keep it in mind or something like that. That would be a problem, because it means that the President of the United States potentially could be bribed by a foreign state. However, there's a further factor. When you're worth billions of dollars, at least on paper, when you already have a business empire and you don't really have to worry about being broke because you've got such a diversified number of properties and investments and brands that any single hit to any economy in the world at most is a light hit. You can just jettison the property and build elsewhere, and you have no problem. Like if Trump sold all of his properties off at their full value, or even at a fraction of their value, he'd be sitting on billions of dollars. It wouldn't be hard for him to then reinvest in something that's doing well. He can invest in other people's properties if he wanted to. And he's not even the one in control of those properties at the time. I can't really make a prediction upon how this will play out in court as the legal battle goes forth. Does this or does this not potentially constitute political gifts, donations in return for political favors? I think they're going to have to prove, though, that there was some sort of bribe actually made. Do they have evidence of this, or are they just worried because it's in a trust as opposed to Trump divesting himself completely, handing it off fully legally to his children in parcels, and divorcing himself of his own businesses? By the way, would this still be a problem if Trump's businesses were all in the U.S.? Would that hold up? Would it still be a problem if it was a single business as opposed to a multinational brand? Would anybody be claiming that it breaches the emoluments clause? I'm not sure that they would be. I'm not sure he'd be being sued over that. And the real worry, the reason why this is in the public spectacle in the first place, is over Russian investors. Because the DNC, to cover its ass, made up the Russian hacker story, said, yes, they're trying to influence the election, they're trying to hack everything, blah, blah, blah. Everyone in the DNC came out and said the election couldn't be hacked, couldn't be influenced when it was going on. When they didn't get the result they wanted, they stuck with the story and said, oh, no, we were wrong. It actually got influenced heavily by Russian hackers, Russian trolls, Russian agent provocateurs, communist KGB infiltrators, whatever. And it was all very, very shadowy and very Red Scare mode and everything like that. What about investors from the UK? Could they not potentially extract the same political favors? Nobody talks about that. They don't talk about the hundreds of millions that have been invested in Trump's properties by people who aren't in Russia. And so I see that as pure politicking. It's just the way that business works. If I was building, let's say that I'm Donald Trump. I want to put up a skyscraper somewhere. I'm putting it in New Delhi. I'm putting it in Dhaka. I'm putting it in the middle of Nigeria or something. I want to buy some oil rigs. I'm like, oh, I want to go industrialist time, not just have the properties. I want to be in production too. I want to buy a gold mine. I want to, drill in a diamond shaft or something. It doesn't really matter to me who is investing in that project. It doesn't matter. I don't care if the money's coming from Russia, from Malawi, or from the middle of Venezuela, honestly. It doesn't matter to me. Unless that state has been so heavily sanctioned already that it's going to cause me a legal problem by taking their cash, I really don't give a fuck who's investing. It doesn't matter to me. They'll get their return. The property's mine. I can keep capitalizing upon it. It's great. I can develop things. People only seem to be fixated on the minority of investment into Trump's properties over time that came from Russia. It's the only reason anyone cares. Do you think Trump would still be sued for this if it was just Trump Inc. and he hadn't taken Russian money? Or if the Russia stuff wasn't in the news every single fucking day? I don't think so. So it'll be interesting to see how this legal battle plays out. I can't really make a prediction yet. I have to see exactly what they're talking about. Have to let it evolve a little bit over time. Then we'll get a clearer picture of what direction it may or may not. It could go to the Supreme Court, honestly. And the Supreme Court doesn't like to make such big decisions because it permanently alters the landscape of politics in the country for generations to come. Well, we'll see what happens, I suppose, really is the answer. That's about all. Peace out.